Tell a man he is free and he will become lazy. Tell a man he is trapped and he will tear down the walls with his bare hands. Tell him he cannot have something and he will burn the world to possess it. Robert Greene understood a truth that most modern minds are too fragile to accept. The human spirit does not operate on logic. It operates on resistance. We are wired to defy. We are wired to protect our ego's fragile sense of autonomy. And because of this, the direct approach, asking for what you want, begging for love, demanding respect, is the fastest way to lose it. If you want to control the outcome, you must stop chasing it. You must learn the art of the inverted command. You have spent your life being told that honesty is the best policy, that if you want something, you should speak up. And where has that gotten you? Ignored, overlooked, taken for granted. The people who actually run the world, the seducers, the negotiators, the strategists, they do not ask. They engineer a reality where you give them exactly what they want, believing it was your idea all along. This is not a game. This is the architecture of human will. And once you see the strings, you can never go back to being a puppet. What follows are the 13 Robert Greene-inspired laws of reverse psychology. These are not parlor tricks. These are psychological weapons designed to disarm the ego, bypass resistance, and trigger the deep instinctual drives of those around you. But a warning, to use these laws, you must first master the hardest person in the room, yourself. Because if you try to wield these weapons, while your own emotions are out of control, they will backfire. They will destroy you. The blade is sharp and it cuts both ways. We will climb the ladder from simple resistance to the darkest corners of influence. By the end, you will understand why the person who cares the least holds the most power, and you will know exactly how to become that person. Let's begin. Law 1. The illusion of choice. The most primitive desire of the human ego is autonomy. The moment someone feels force, their wall goes up. They will reject a good idea simply because it wasn't their idea. The amateur commands. The master offers options. Robert Greene emphasizes that if you want a specific outcome, you never force the path. You curate the alternatives. You give them 2 doors. Door A is the outcome you want. Door B is an outcome that is slightly worse for them but still leads to your objective, or an outcome that is unacceptable to them, forcing them to choose door A. Think of a child. If you tell him go to bed, he fights, he screams. He asserts his dominance. But if you ask, do you want to go to bed now or in 5 minutes? He chooses 5 minutes. He feels he has won. He feels he is the captain of his destiny, but in reality, he is walking into the sleep you designed for him. Adults are just children with bigger vocabularies and stronger defenses. In negotiation, never say, this is the deal. Say, we can sign this today and lock in the price, or we can wait until next quarter when the rates rise. It's entirely up to you. You have removed the pressure. You have handed them the crown of decision-making. Their pride is soothed. They will choose the path of least resistance, which is the path you paved. You are not the dictator. You are the architect of the landscape. They walk where they choose, but you built the roads. Law 2, the forbidden fruit. There is no magnet more powerful than a do not enter sign. In psychology, this is called reactance theory. When our freedom is threatened, we experience a visceral urge to regain it. We want what is scarce. We want what is denied. We want what is behind the velvet rope. Robert Greene often emphasizes that desire intensifies when access is restricted. If you want someone to obsess over an idea, do not sell it to them. Restrict it. Frame it as something too advanced, too risky, or exclusive. If you want someone to pursue you, do not offer yourself on a platter. That is cheap. That is common, and common things are treated with indifference. Instead, create a barrier. I don't think we would work out. We are too alike. You probably shouldn't watch this video. It's too disturbing for most people. Watch what happens in your own mind. You lean in. The moment you tell someone they can't, their ego screams, "Watch me." They will work harder to qualify themselves to you than they ever would have if you had asked for their attention. By disqualifying them, you force them to chase your validation. You flip the script. You are no longer the seller. You are the prize. Law 3, the strategic surrender. Most people argue to win. The strategist argues to lose temporarily. When you are met with a stubborn, aggressive opponent, pushing back only solidifies their stance. It's physics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you push, they push. So stop pushing, pull. Robert Greene teaches that sometimes the most powerful move is to align with your opponent's energy instead of resisting it. When someone attacks you or your idea, do not defend, agree, amplify their point. Take it to its absolute logical extreme until it becomes absurd, or simply accept their premise with total calm. You're right. My plan is risky. We probably shouldn't do it. It might be better to stay exactly where we are and change nothing. Watch their eyes. They are braced for impact, ready for a fight. When you surrender, they lose their balance. They fall forward. Suddenly, they are the ones arguing against their own caution. Well, I didn't mean we should do nothing. By removing the resistance, you force them to fill the void. Often, they will start arguing your side just to restore equilibrium. To master reverse psychology is to understand that you do not need to be the one driving the car. Sometimes you take your hands off the wheel, knowing the alignment will pull it exactly where you want to go. Law 4, the void of silence. We live in a world of noise. Everyone is broadcasting, explaining, justifying. Silence has become the most expensive commodity on earth. And because it is rare, it is intimidating. When you explain yourself, you deplete your power. You give others data to analyze, to critique, to dismantle. Robert Greene emphasizes that the less you say, the more powerful and controlled you appear. Use silence as a vacuum. When you ask a question and get a half-truth in response, do not speak. Do not fill the awkwardness. Look them in the eyes and wait. The human mind abhors a vacuum. It panics in silence. It assumes the silence means you know. Something they don't. It assumes you are judging, calculating. To relieve that tension, they will talk. They will reveal the truth. They will bid against themselves. They will offer concessions they never intended to make, just to break the spell of your quiet. Silence is not empty. It is heavy. Learn to let it hang in the room until it crushes the will of the opposition. Law 5, the mirror of narcissism. Everyone is the protagonist of their own movie. They are not really looking at you. They are looking for a reflection of themselves in you. If you want to influence someone, do not try to convince them with your logic. It won't work. Your logic is alien to them. Instead, mirror their values, mirror their words, mirror their posture. Robert Greene emphasizes that people are most easily influenced when they feel seen and validated at a deep level. But here is the dark twist: mirror their ideal self. People walk around with a vision of who they wish they were: noble, intelligent, dangerous, kind. If you treat them as if they are already that person, they become drawn to you. You become the mirror that shows them their best angle. I know you are the kind of person who values loyalty above all else. I know you are too smart to fall for that. I know you are a risk taker. By labeling them with a positive trait, you trap them. They now feel pressure to act in accordance with that identity to protect their ego. If you tell someone they are too fair-minded to let a small detail ruin a deal, they will concede the detail to prove they are fair. You have boxed them in using their own self-image. Law 6, the you probably couldn't challenge. This is the nuclear option. It targets one of the ego's deepest sensitivities: competence. When you want someone to do something difficult, do not beg. Do not overpromise rewards. Instead, lightly question whether it's even a fit for them. Robert Greene often points out that people are driven to defend their status and self-image. Use that. I need this done, but honestly, it might be too complex for your team right now. I may need to outsource it. Or, I was going to ask you to join us, but I know you don't have the appetite for this kind of risk. The ego resists that framing. It reads it as a threat to capability. They'll want to prove you wrong. They'll take on the task, the risk, the work, just to reassert their competence. The key is tone. If you sound insulting, they'll reject you. If you sound concerned, it lands as protection. You're not attacking, you're shielding them from failure. That makes it harder to push back. Done well, they will volunteer for the very thing you wanted, because saying no now feels like admitting weakness. Law 7, the anxiety of freedom. Kierkegaard said anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. People say they want total freedom, but they don't. Total freedom is paralyzing. It is the abyss. When you tell someone, do whatever you want, I don't care, you are not liberating them, you are terrifying them. In relationships, the partner who demands knowing where the other is at all times is the weak one. The partner who says, go have fun, do whatever you like, is the one in control. Why? Because by granting total permission, you remove the thrill of rebellion. If nothing is forbidden, nothing is exciting. Furthermore, your lack of possessiveness signals that you are not afraid to lose them, and that is terrifying. It signals that you have options, that you are secure, that you are the prize. Suddenly, they are not thinking about the freedom you gave them. They are thinking about why you gave it so easily. They will stay close, not because you forced them, but because they are afraid of drifting too far from your indifference. Law 8, the false weakness. Robert Greene writes that it is sometimes useful to feign foolishness, to appear slower, duller, or more naive than you actually are. When you appear sharp, aggressive, and perfect, people put their guards up. They compete with you. They try to tear you down. But when you appear slightly flawed, slightly confused, or in need of help, they relax. They lower their shields. Their ego swells. They want to help you, to correct you, to teach you. I'm not sure I understand how this works. Could you explain your strategy again? In their eagerness to show off their intelligence, they will reveal their hand. They will give you the information you need. They will underestimate you. And there is no greater advantage in any interaction than being underestimated. Let them think they are the cat playing with the mouse. By the time they realize you are the lion, their throat is already exposed. Law 9, constructive pessimism. We live in a culture of toxic positivity. You can do it. Believe in yourself. It sounds inspiring, but it is often empty noise. Robert Greene suggests that real motivation is often triggered through pressure, not comfort. Sometimes the most powerful way to move someone forward is to agree with their doubt. When someone says, I don't think I can do this, do not rush to contradict them. Say, you're right. It's going to be incredibly hard. Most people would quit. It might not be worth the pain. This does two things. First, it validates their emotion, so they stop resisting you. Second, it triggers a deeper instinct, the urge to prove doubt wrong. By painting reality as difficult, you make success meaningful. If something is easy, failure feels shameful. But if something is almost impossible, even small progress feels heroic. People don't want comfort. They want meaning. They want struggle that proves they are capable. You don't hand them false hope. You sharpen the challenge. And in doing so, you awaken the fighter inside them. Law 10, the implanted idea. The most powerful idea is the one the subject thinks is their own. If you tell someone what to do, it is a command. If you lead them to the conclusion and let them say it, it is a revelation. This requires patience. You drop crumbs. You ask leading questions. You highlight a problem, but offer no solution. You let the silence sit. You wait for their brain to connect the dots you drew. It's strange how our competitors are cutting costs. I wonder what they see that we don't. You leave it there. A day later, your boss comes to you and says, I've been thinking we need to restructure our budget to remain competitive. You smile. You agree. You praise their foresight. You do not claim credit. You do not say, I told you so. The credit is the price you pay for the control. Let them wear the crown as long as you are the one whispering the decrees. Law 11, the contrast principle. The human brain cannot evaluate things in isolation. We only know if something is expensive, heavy, or reasonable by comparing it to something else. If you want a specific request granted, precede it with a much larger, more unreasonable request. I need you to stay late every night this week to finish the project. No way, I can't do that. Okay, I understand. Can you at least give me 2 hours tonight so we don't fall too far behind? Okay, I can do tonight. If you had asked for tonight immediately, they might have hesitated. But compared to every night, tonight feels like a relief. It feels like a concession you made. They feel they won the negotiation. Always anchor the negotiation in the extreme. Define the battlefield so that the middle ground, where you actually want to be, looks like a sanctuary. Law 12, controlled incompetence. This is a specific subset of false. Weakness used often in relationships and hierarchies. If you do something too well, you will be punished with more of it. If you fix the printer once, you are the IT guy forever. If you are the responsible one in the relationship, you will carry the mental load until you break. Sometimes the most Machiavellian move is to fail deliberately, to be clumsy, to forget, to do the task so poorly that you are never asked to do it again. This is weaponized incompetence. It forces others to step up. It protects your time. It filters out the tasks that do not serve your ultimate purpose. Do not be the hero who catches every falling plate. Let a few smash. The sound of breaking glass is often the only thing that wakes people up to your value. Law 13, the withdrawal. The most potent. We value what we might lose. You can be charming, skilled, beautiful, and intelligent. But if you are always available, you are worth nothing. The economic law of supply and demand applies to human attention. If you feel you are being taken for granted, do not complain. Do not argue, disappear, pull back your energy, take longer to reply, be less enthusiastic, cancel a plan, create a void where your validation used to be. This sudden withdrawal triggers a primal panic in the other person. Have I lost them? What changed? They will chase. They will overcompensate. They will suddenly realize how much space you occupied in their life. Now that there is a hole in it, but this must be done without anger. If you withdraw with anger, it is a tantrum. If you withdraw with indifference, it is power. It signals that you are perfectly fine without them. And that is the only signal that commands true respect. Now pause. Take a breath. You are listening to this, and you are thinking about how to use these laws on your boss, your partner, your enemies. You are imagining the strings you will pull, but you are missing the point. Why do you feel the need to control them? Because you feel out of control. The need for manipulation comes from fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of insignificance, fear of the chaotic, unpredictable nature of other human beings. You want to use reverse psychology as a shield, a way to guarantee outcomes in a world that offers no guarantees. But here is the catch, the paradox. You can only wield these laws effectively if you do not need them. Think about it. The person who is truly detached, who is truly secure, who truly doesn't care if they get the deal or the girl, they naturally apply all these laws without trying. They are scarce because they have a life. They are mysterious because they don't need to overshare for validation. They let others choose because they aren't afraid of the choice. The technique is just an imitation of the mindset. If you use these laws as a desperate trick to get someone to love you or respect you, they will smell the stench of your neediness. You cannot fake detachment for long. The mask will slip. So the ultimate reverse psychology is on yourself. You must convince yourself that you do not need the outcome. You must build a life so rich, a mind so fortified, a purpose so clear that the rejection of others is simply data, not a wound. When you stop needing the world to applaud you, the world starts chasing you. So here is your task. Do not try to use all 13 laws. Tomorrow you will look like a psychopath. Pick one. Pick the one that scares you the most. Maybe it's silence. Maybe it's withdrawal. Maybe it's agreeing with an insult. Try it just once. Watch the reaction. Watch how the dynamic shifts. Watch how the energy in the room moves from them to you. And in that moment, you will realize that you have been playing the game with your hands tied behind your back. You have been playing by rules that no longer exist. You are not late to this knowledge. You are just in time. The world is a chessboard. Most people are pawns moving blindly, reacting to the square in front of them. It is time you started playing like the hand that moves the pieces. If you are ready to stop being a spectator in your own life, if you are ready to learn the language of power that is spoken in the shadows, subscribe to the channel. We do not teach you how to fit in. We teach you how to transcend. I'll see you in the next video. Don't let them see you coming.